This was the Holtwood Redevelopment project. It was an electric hydro generating plant. The unique part of the project was when you usually go out on a job, you usually don't get a job of this situation where there's a bundle of 36 lines all running to different valves from a control box. Okay, my role in the project was to run 3,500 feet of half-inch and 3/8 inch stainless steel tubing from a control box to 19 air-operated control valves. The total length was, we left the control box, went through a 3.5 foot wall, then we went about another 15 feet to another 3.5 inch wall. Once we went through that 3.5 inch wall, we had to divide the tubing to the west side and south side and drop down 25 foot to the bottom of the pit where these air-operated valves are. Biggest challenges on this job was, first off, in the morning you had to get on 202 steps down to your work area. And from there we went into a 20 by 25 foot room and down another 25 foot straight ladder to the bottom. And while working on these tubings, we're like 75 feet below the riverbed. And on the bottom there's always water running, at least 1 to 2 inches of water. And the ceiling was sort of like a rainforest. It's like raining every day, and sort of had to make some makeshift tents to keep dry. And plus the 16 and 24 inch pipes on the bottom we had to climb over and build a couple scaffolds to do the installation. The most rewarding part of the project is when I stand back and look at the work I did to see how nice and straight and plumb it's ran, and it really looks professional, and it's sort of like a painting on a wall when the painter looks back at it and says it looks like a masterpiece, and I think it looks very professional.
We nominated, this project and Matt particularly for this award because of his strengths on the self-performance of all the different things he was able to do and the quality of the product that was left at the end of the day, and a very satisfied customer. We're talking about the CycleChem project in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. This is a site where they handle environmentally challenged soils. So this site has its own challenges of being we have chemical concerns, we have soil concerns, water concerns. It was a steel structure addition onto an existing building. It's very industrial. The drainage system is most important because there had to be multiple filters built in before any groundwater could seep out into the site. So the foundations, the concrete structure, concrete specialty coatings were kind of the specialty part of this project. The moisture control of the existing soils was a concern. It was a wet season, so we were having problems getting compaction, and we ended up doing some footing changes, more of a spread footing, trying to make sure that the building had good solid foundations. So we had a few challenges there, a few field changes had to be made with the engineer's blessings. And yeah, Matt came to us as a carpenter background. It came out of a technical school, and through multiple trainings at his request, he's grown into someone that can do structural steel. He's been able to work with our bridge building crews on that side, which also gave him a lot of structural concrete strengths, which this project just needed all of those things, from the excavation to the heavy structural concrete to the heavy structural steel installations, all of those which came from his bridge background. It just was a great fit for him, and he just did a wonderful job.
Well, what we had is we had a Ventura's Foods. We were trying to bring their project up to where we could get electrical service from 2 different companies, and one of them was Chambersburg Borough. And with Chambersburg Borough, we had more options to go with, so we had to kind of come up with a way of getting the 69 kV transformer in an existing yard, which was energized, which kind of real estate inside that substation was very limited. So it was a very tight space for us to work in.
We had to go into an existing substation and then add a transformer, and then actually do 6,100 feet of piping, then crossing roads and down to a new switchgear lineup we put in for them. We had some obstacles with some fiber optics lines and stuff like that for the borough of Chambersburg. After we found the conduits we were supposed to intercept, no sooner I found those pipes, which were 4 foot down in the ground, I got through their conduits for their fiber optics, and there was a 3 foot drain gutter that I had to bend all my pipes underneath this thing. I'm like, really right off the get, we got all these obstacles to get around all this stuff.
most challenging part of this was to work with the Department of Environmental Resources to make sure that if there was ever a spill on this transformer, that we were able to contain the oil. And most oil containments for transformers are like a concrete type swimming pool where they collect water and you have pumps that have to be maintained to get rid of the water but not the oil. But we used kind of a new style format of containment, and it was a barrier system that really works very well. It's kind of like a big swimming pool liner, and it has absorption diapers kind of on the side of this containment system that if there were ever to be an oil spill, this would contain the oil and keep it from running into any of the water sources in the area.